The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers Cable or Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Georgina Connects, a show all about connecting you with the social services and organizations that support Georgina. I'm your host, Michael Gardner-Davis, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking all about food security in Georgina. I'll be joined by an individual from the Good Food Collective, which operates here in Georgina, as well as someone from the York Region Food Network who supports Georgina. All this and more on today's show. Don't go anywhere. As our first guest to introduce today on the topic of food insecurity in Georgina, I am joined by Carolyn Grossi, the outreach specialist from the Good Food Collective. Carolyn, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So could you tell us a little bit about the Good Food Collective and what you do?
Sure. The Good Food Collective was started during COVID with three organizations. So it's a collective. It's the Georgina Food Pantry, Community Living Georgina, and Roots Connecting Communities. And they got together and talked about how they could help with a couple of things. You know, food insecurity has been big, certainly all during COVID, but also
Absolutely.
some connections for people to get together. So they started by cooking in the link and having maybe 30 or 35 meals a week going to people, either sitting down or people coming to pick up food. And it was just an opportunity to make sure people were connecting and getting what they needed in hard times.
Absolutely. No, that sounds incredible, and it sounds like such an important support for the people in our community. So on a weekly basis, what does this kind of look like for the folks moving forward?
So what's happened to it over the last 2 years is it really grew. So last year we served just over 7,000 meals, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. It is a nonprofit completely. We look to make enough money every week to pay for the groceries for the next week, essentially, is our plan. It's not a soup kitchen, and it's a pay what you can. So the important thing about it is that we encourage people to contribute to the pot, whatever they can. Our takeouts are pre-booked, so we do that a bit separately. And really what it's turned into is we give people an opportunity to get together. So every Wednesday at the link at 12 o'clock, we have a meal. It's a hot meal almost all the time. It is an opportunity for you to see people and talk to people that you haven't met previously, to make a new friend, to have a meal with someone. For a lot of people that come, it's not just people that can't afford lunch, so I want to make sure that's clear.
Right.
It's really an opportunity for people to socialize and get out to learn. So one of the big things that we do is we often have a community table that's free to any organization that services Georgina. So anyone that, any social service that services Georgina that wants to get the word out about what they can do to help residents here. So we have had the military museum, we've had town recreation programs, we've had all the social agencies in town. The Legion has come, you know, lots of different places like that come and just tell you about how to get involved, what services there are for people to enjoy.
So it's more than just food and socialization. There's that community aspect to it. You're learning something while you're there. That's incredible.
Education is one of the pillars that we have, so that's big. One of the other things is food education. So we really try to show the diversity in Georgina. And there's no better way to do that than with food, because it's a great language that we all share.
Absolutely.
Right? So we really try to highlight, we work with a diversity calendar and with our partners at Roots, as you know, and we use that diversity calendar to find opportunities to highlight Georgina residents through food. So that way we can learn about each other. So we've had festivals. Last week we did Nowruz, which was Persian New Year. We had some dancers and some music and information. We've done Eid, where we've had some beautiful opportunities to try on clothes from different cultures, to get a henna tattoo, and to try different food. We've had Chinese New Year celebrations. We've had Hanukkah celebrations. We've done Truth and Reconciliation through National Indigenous Day, where we did the Three Sisters soups and explained to people a little bit about what some of the cultures are that, you know, their neighbors have.
Absolutely. So through the year, you've got something exciting coming up all the time, it sounds like. Really.
I'd say every month we have at least 2 sort of culturally themed meals, right? it gets to be expensive.
It does.
Because, as an example, some cultures have specialty foods.
Absolutely.
And the specialty foods cost more than non-specialty foods.
And you're trying to balance honoring the culture with putting on this lunch.
Sure.
So how do you go about doing that?
Well, we really rely on community partners.
Okay.
So part of my job is to, one, coordinate the community groups that come in and educate us, right? And the other is to look for community partners that want to help sponsor the lunch.
Okay.
So when we're looking for lunch sponsors, I like to say, I'll take any money from anybody. So if you are a smaller business or a smaller organization and you can afford to give us a $100 gift card for a grocery store, we'll take it. That's great.
Incredible.
If you're at a bit of a different opportunity where you can give $500, which is the sponsorship of a meal, that's what our average grocery bill is every week for lunch. And again, that's just groceries. We still have to pay for the space, and we have to pay for parchment paper and aluminum foil
all
and
of the
dish
stuff that goes
soap
into
and
it,
all
really.
the other things, right? So we look for community partners. So last year we were really lucky. Out of the 50 lunches that we did, we had 26 sponsored lunches.
That is some incredible support from the community.
Which is really great.
That is exceptional, absolutely. So speaking about the community, what is kind of upcoming this year with the Good Food Collective?
Oh my gosh, we have, when we look, we try not to miss a country, to be honest with you. So we look at opportunities to celebrate lots of different places. So I think in April, we have some things planned around, we're going to celebrate Greece. There's always an opportunity to celebrate Italy because there's, good food all over Europe.
Absolutely.
So we do that. We've done France. We have an Eid celebration coming up. In May, I believe we have Mother's Day, where we always try and do something special for the moms.
Yeah.
Then, not to get outdone, we do something special for dads in June.
Of course.
Right. We have a strawberry festival, so we already have a sponsor for that coming up at the end of June. We're doing like a strawberry type lunch.
That sounds delicious.
There's always ice cream and strawberries at that one, which is good. The summer, we'll probably have some barbecues and some fun picnic type food. And then in September, we will do another one focused around Indigenous Day and learning more about our Indigenous neighbors, because there's an opportunity there. Thanksgiving, there's always
all the major
something.
Holidays, all the major cultural celebrations you're going to
not always religious ones, they're cultural, right? So we just want to make sure everybody's included and everybody has a chance to learn something new.
Absolutely.
And learning through food is a delicious way to do it.
So you've mentioned the community lunches. You've mentioned that there's the education, the workshops, that kind of thing. What about the catering that you mentioned? Could you tell us more about that?
Sure. We have a little division called World Flavors Catering. It started off small. We mostly cater at the link because that's where the commercial kitchen is that we have access to, that we rent. So we've been really fortunate. The Chamber of Commerce has used us for a number of their big events. The town's used us for a number of their big events. York Region has called on us to do some lunches for youth and some of their staff meetings and things like that. We can do everything. We can do hot meals, we can do sandwiches, we can do party trays, things like that.
Absolutely.
We get our volunteers involved from community living, and when we cater, it's an opportunity for them to earn income, so they get paid for the work that they do. Our community lunches are all volunteer, but when we have catering jobs, then we pay the people that work.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Absolutely.
We've worked hard to get as many of them as possible trained in their food handler certification so that they can also work outside.
It makes them more employable, which is a huge help as well for anyone.
Sure does, yeah.
Absolutely.
They are absolutely able then to go and work in other establishments in town, which is great, and have some work experience.
Invaluable
really
work experience. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that your team is a great reference as well. I mean, the community knows you. The community loves you, right?
Yeah.
Now, what about these volunteers? How can folks get involved in that side of things?
They can reach out through, the best way I say to volunteers is come to lunch. So come and see what we do first and see if that's something you'd like to do. You can write to us at info@Good Food Collective, and then we have some forms you need to fill out.
Of course.
We try to rotate our volunteers. I was saying to someone the other day, summer we're losing some volunteers because we have some that are golf enthusiasts.
Of course.
And, they're going to cottages
going about
and doing
their
different
lives.
things.
Yep.
So we start at 9, we're there till 2, so we need people who can help with food prep in the early part, and then we do sort of a second shift at 11, and that's our sort of serving and cleanup crew. So we try and rotate people around so everybody gets a chance to do something different.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would love it. We had some students last summer, which was terrific, that helped us out.
So support from all ages.
Absolutely.
Anybody in the community that's interested in helping out.
Yeah.
And it's not just cooking.
No, it's not just cooking. We also, when we do the catering, we need extra people to help with that, which is kind of fun. We do some dry soups for sale. We have had some market days last year that were really successful. So we rented the kitchen on an alternate day and made samosas and cookies and I think soup, and those were a huge hit. So we're going to do that again. Yeah,
Absolutely.
It was great. So yeah, volunteers, it's not just Wednesday. There might be opportunities for people to help us on different days when we're doing catering.
That's incredible. So now, the final pillar, we're talking about workshops. Is there anything upcoming that you can talk about
We have
that?
a terrific partnership this year with York Region Food Network. So last year, I know you have a guest coming on later that'll talk more about the fresh food markets, which we love. But we have a new project this year in 2024 where we've partnered. We're going to offer 22 cooking workshops across Georgina.
Wow.
Starting in Pefferlaw, because, Pefferlaw doesn't always get first. So we thought we'd start with them. So starting in April, there's 6 workshops that are going to be aimed at eliminating food waste, using all the food that you buy, getting some good ideas on how to cook maybe for smaller 1 to 2 people type of thing, right? They're going to be during the day. Their focus is mostly on seniors.
Okay.
And that's going to be at the Pefferlaw Hall. All that information is on our website and on our Facebook page, or you can call Roots because it's all there. Then we're going to move into Sutton in the summer, probably end of summer, early fall, and have some workshops on canning and pickling and using everything from your garden and making the most out of the fall harvest.
Right.
That's going to be focused on youth and families.
Right.
And then we'll end up sort of before Christmas, but somewhere in the late fall in Keswick, we're going to be using the Merc, which is kind of exciting, cool new spot.
Absolutely.
And that one's going to be focused more on families and families cooking together, again, eliminating food waste, using what's available to you. We're really excited. It's a partnership that we think we're going to have a lot of fun with.
Absolutely. So it sounds like you're making the rounds across all of Georgina. You're finding ways to support everyone in the community.
Yeah.
Where can the folks go to find out more information about what you're doing?
So we have a Facebook and Instagram page. We post everything on there. You can always call Roots. They have all the information as well. You can write to me and all the information will be available. Yeah.
That's incredible.
We'd love more people to get engaged.
Absolutely. Well, you've heard it here, Georgina. You can get involved anytime, any day. Just reach on out. Thank you so much, Carolyn, for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Of course. After the break, we'll be chatting with York Region Food Network. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Georgina Connects. To continue our conversation about food supports and food security in Georgina, I am joined by the Executive Director of the York Region Food Network, Kate Gravett. Kate, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So could you tell me a little bit more about the York Region Food Network and what you do?
York Region Food Network, we're a charitable organization, and we've been around since the late 80s. And what we do in the community, it's about building community food programs. So for us, food is so important. It connects to the environment. And how you grow food, how you deal with food waste is all about, really responds to kind of a healthy environment. It impacts the economy, it impacts health as well. So for us at York Region Food Network, we take a holistic approach to food. And what we do throughout York Region is about building programs, services, and experiences where people can connect to food and really enjoy food, the connection between food and culture, food and health, and the importance of food in terms of reducing social isolation and improving mental health.
Yeah. It seems like it can encompass almost every area of human life, really. So in the context of maybe Georgina, can you tell us a little bit about what York Region Food Network has been doing?
Yes, so in Georgina, Georgina, I have to admit, is a newer community to us. And we've just started to work in Georgina probably over the last 5 or 6 years.
We're happy to have you.
Yes. You know what? We're a small but mighty team, so trying to spread across the region is always the big challenge for us. So kind of in our early days supporting food work in Georgina, we did help consult on some community gardens that have emerged throughout Georgina, offering some of our advice, our expertise. We have been running community garden programs since the 90s.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of best practices and ideas of what to do and what not to do. So we've been able to share that with some of the emerging gardens in Georgina, which has been really exciting.
That's incredible.
Yes, over the years, we've done a lot of culinary workshops at the Link and other spots, really trying to bring people together around food so we can share food skills and also have a space where people can come and cook together and
Absolutely.
connect. More recently, what we've been doing is we've been working with the Good Food Collective on the affordable food market.
Okay.
And this has been a really, really exciting initiative for us. And I have to admit, we're still in the pilot phase. So we just launched it in partnership with the Good Food Collective in November of 2023. And the idea is trying to bring really good quality product, fresh foods, to everybody in our communities at really affordable prices.
Right. So could you maybe explain a bit of the model and how you're making that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So this model, we've seen it happen in other areas across Ontario. So we've taken some kind of, again, best practices and ideas, but York Region's different. So we've been able to shape it our own way as well. But essentially what we do is we partner with, in Georgina, it's the Good Food Collective. We also run this market in 4 other communities. But we partner with somebody in the communities or multiple organizations.
Right.
And twice a month we run a market. We focus on fresh foods, whole foods, so it's really fruits and veggies. And what we do is we work with local farmers. Sometimes we get donations from local farmers. It might be, they're imperfect, so it could be squash that's too big or too small for the grocery stores, or some of those other kind of more imperfect veggies. They're still edible, so we'll incorporate that in. Otherwise, we'll work with other farmers, and we essentially buy the produce at wholesale prices and at bulk pricing, and then we're able to pass it along to folks. So for us, it's a cost recovery model, and it means that we can sell fresh produce anywhere from 50 cents to $2 per item. So it's a really great opportunity and way to get fresh food just more available to everybody in our communities.
Absolutely. That's sort of the feedback I've heard from the community as well. I believe it was asparagus that was being sold at the Georgina Food Market, and I believe they got it for $1 or $2 or something like that. And at the grocery store that week, I think it was 5 or 6. So that's a huge kind of difference and a huge impact for the people in Georgina. That's super exciting. So you mentioned that it was at the Good Food Collective. Could you tell us a little bit more about sort of where and when that is?
Absolutely. So we've been, this affordable fresh food market is running twice a month, and it's actually happening at the Good Food Collective's community lunch at the Link. So we're essentially there. It's the first and the third Wednesdays of each month, and then it's we open a little bit before lunch starts, and then we're there the entire time. So a lot of people will come early. They'll come and do their shopping with us. They'll sit down then and have the lunch together, or some people will come for lunch and then at the end, before they leave, stop in and get some produce.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's been wonderful. We've had such great reception here in Georgina. So with this model, we've also just encouraging people to tell us what they want to see.
Right.
So we're always, each week we try to have different produce. And if the community's telling us they really want a certain item, we're working really hard to make that happen and to make sure the food offerings and the produce is reflective of the community and what they want to be seeing and what they want to eat.
That's incredible. And it sounds like you're almost in a way saving food that, like you're describing, maybe wouldn't have made it to the grocery store, maybe would have gone to waste, and you're putting it into the hands of people who, in the same breath, maybe wouldn't have access.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Very much so. And then again, just the purchasing power with working with other farms, and just to be able to, again, the wholesale and bulk pricing we can get is quite wonderful. So for us as an organization, we're nonprofit. We're not looking to make any money off of this. So again, we're able to sell it at cost, which really just brings it to this a more comfortable territory for everybody, especially with the cost of living crisis that we're seeing and food costs right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to get more information on the food markets, are they for everyone? Is there eligibility? What's the case there?
Yes, it is open to everybody. So with York Region Food Network, all of our programs, there's no means tests, so everyone can come. It's because we know There's some people who are experiencing food insecurity who use our services. There's some people who are looking to increase their food security, looking at our services. We also have others who they might come and connect with us because of mental health impacts or because they're maybe lonely and isolated.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of people who, a lot of different walks who will come in and access what we do. So for us, we want to make it open and inclusive to all. So folks can come and you just have to start shopping. We do have volunteers and we do have staff of each market who will walk you through the process, but essentially it's set up like a farmer's market stand where you can come. Soon we'll have some baskets, but people will be able to, you just kind of collect what you want and then you take it to the cash out. So it's a really easy way, an accessible way to make it really available to everyone and to make sure that there's no stigma with accessing this. Because again, it's open to everybody. We can all benefit from it.
Absolutely. And so did you start this for any specific reason, maybe across York Region, but also Georgina? Were there any sort of hard-hitting facts, metrics, figures that kind of inspired you to make change in our neighborhood?
You know, we've at York Region Food Networks year over year, we've been seeing the food insecurity rates increase within the York Region. And we know not every community has access to, in some situations, there's not grocery stores available. And then others, just the prices are inaccessible. So what we've really been seeing throughout COVID and kind of in this recovery period is food prices have skyrocketed so much. We've seen cost of living. We've seen people with living on fixed incomes or even non-fixed incomes and just struggling to make ends meet.
Yeah,
so for us,
their budget is getting stretched.
Everyone's budget's getting
further
stretched.
and further every single year, it seems.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So for us, this is a way where we can have really good quality local product and again, make it available right now when so many people are not able to save. They're not able to really afford the fresh food that they're looking for right now.
Absolutely.
And then we also see that there's a lot of people who might be living by themselves and going and buying a bag of apples is too much. So we've also kind of customized it in a way where people can get a portion that works for them. So maybe they just want 3 apples versus, but they want kind of that bulk pricing versus buying a bag.
Yeah, and it allows them to use what they'll use and save the rest for other folks that can use them.
Exactly, and then also reduces their own household food waste as well. So it has
incredible.
Lots of
There's
exciting
so many
lessons.
Different arms to this. That's incredible.
Exactly, and with each market, we try to feed in the education piece. So I know with the Good Food Collective, they're always bringing out other community organizations and booths. And for us, it's always kind of sharing information about recipes. We might have samples and just encourage people to kind of think of using produce in different ways. So it might be doing a cake made out of squash. It might be making potato bread, but kind of looking at reducing that waste and building food skills at the same time and building excitement and inspiration around food.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to visit the food market last time it was in town, and I tried one of the samples that you're mentioning here, and I believe it was a strawberry rhubarb dessert of some kind.
Yes.
I have the recipe at home. It was delicious. So they're definitely bringing some really great, exciting recipes to the table as well, which is, they really get you thinking outside of the box, because it was almost like a brownie, but it wasn't quite. It wasn't something I was familiar with, and that's what I liked about it. I liked that it was new and it had me thinking.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of people thinking. There was a lot of great feedback, so that's incredible to see.
And yeah, especially with ingredients that is kind of oats, things that you tend to have at home, so it's nothing unusual.
Yeah.
And that one in particular, we're trying to get people excited for rhubarb season, which is just around the corner. So it's our way to
seasonal food is super important too. Absolutely. Now, you were mentioning you have a team of staff, you have volunteers. Is there a way that people can get involved as volunteers?
Absolutely. So at the Georgina Food Market, and actually all of our food markets, we do have one staff who's there to support, and then we rely on volunteers to help us through the process as well. So on our website, on our social media, Facebook and Instagram primarily, we have information about those volunteer opportunities. And it's an opportunity for people to come in, support their communities. We have every type of role available, but from being a greeter and helping kind of anyone who's new to the market explain how it works, to helping to restock, offering the samples, helping with the cash out. So there's lots of different roles for everybody based on people's interests and levels and what they want to, or how they want to support the market.
For sure. And so when it comes to volunteering, are there any sort of eligibility requirements? Is there any marks they have to hit? Is there availability that might be important?
So in terms of the Georgina market, if folks are interested in coming to the market and helping us execute it, it would be on the first and third Wednesdays of each month from about 11 a.m. until about 1 o'clock, so it's about a 2-hour commitment. But I have to admit that that's just a small bit of what folks see from the markets, because we do also have to do farm pickups. We have to we pack produce in advance and kind of portion everything out. So we do have other opportunities available. So if that kind of Wednesday midday doesn't work for folks, they can get in contact with us and we can explore all the other opportunities. And it could be promotions, supporting with that. It could be coming, helping us package everything. It could be visiting some of the farms that we purchase from and helping us get that produce to our operations in order to package it for the markets. So lots of opportunities.
Absolutely. No, and it's so important for a lot of folks that are benefiting from these services. I've seen that they want to give back and help support it and help support their community, which is really amazing to have that opportunity. And again, even if they're not available for the market day, they can give back doing something else as well, which is incredible. Now, you mentioned you worked with local farms and that kind of thing. I'm imagining by local, you mean York Region.
Yes, we do have quite a few within Georgina specifically that we purchase from as well, and then across York Region.
That's
so
incredible.
Yeah, we're always looking for opportunities and connections. But there's Georgina has, and I actually live in Georgina, but Georgina has some very strong operations and just amazing farmers who are very generous. So
very strong farming community here, very strong community sense here, which is incredible to see. You really truly do fit right in. Where can the folks go to find out more information about all things York Region Food Network?
So we have a really active, up-to-date website. It's yrfn.ca, where folks can visit. Also our socials, our Facebook, our Instagram are always up to date with lots of information available.
Thank you so much, Kate, for joining us. That's all that we have for today. Thank you for joining us to learn about food security in Georgina, and we hope to see you next time on Georgina Connects.